A question here. This is, hi Duran, I've been following you for a while now. I want to change my lifestyle in terms of meat and animal product consumption. I'm a master's track cyclist in sprint and endurance events. So endurance, I'm assuming pursuit, sprint, kilo, etc. Master's track cyclist. I know you advocate for carbs, etc. But do you think I can perform at the same level or better being vegan? I'm going to try the switch. Just want you to know that you have influenced this change in me, so please keep up the good work. I know you're making a difference. I'd like to know your thoughts. Thank you very much. That's a great question, a very common question I get. Now, I get a lot of questions. I don't get back to probably 95% of them. If you do want coaching, go to duranride.com. We do have a coaching group, so all the questions in there are answered. If they're not, you just keep posting until they're answered. So if you have any questions you want them answered, join a coaching group. The best value out there, and it's legit information, all right? It's real life-based information. This is the most powerful. Now, this camera's flipped. This says stages, this says vegan, this says white sugar. This camera's flipped for whatever reason. White sugar. This is the most powerful thing anyone can use for anything in life. Not anything in life, but most things in life. Emotional, physical, sugar, sucrose. If you sampled your brain has fructose in it. If you sampled your seminal vesicles, sperm runs on fructose. Spinal fluid, the spinal column is full of fructose, all right? So sucrose is a mix of sucrose. Sucrose is 50% glucose, 50% fructose, okay? Super, super important food. This is the most important. This is found in fruit. This is found in corn, beetroot, sugarcane, sucrose. So if you add this to fruit, you get your fiber and your fruit and your vitamins, minerals. It's just a fantastic power. This is like, there's all the things I've taken in my life, legal, illegal, whatever, PED, supplement bullshit. This is it. This is nothing comes close. Nothing comes close to this. You're in hospital, in a coma, and you weigh, let's say you're obese and you're 150 kilos. We'll get to the track cycle question in a second. You're 150 kilos, obese. Let's say you're 5 foot tall, 150 kilos, morbidly obese. Unfortunately, now you're in a coma for whatever happened, an accident or something. You're in a hospital on a coma. What do they give you? What's the drip? A little bit of amino acids, a little bit of vitamins, a little bit of minerals. Where's the calories come from? Sugar. You're laying in a bed. The nurse has to turn you over so you get bed sores. You can't even move. Vegetative coma state. Being pumped full of sugar to maintain some calories. And your weight, you go from 150, eventually go down to probably 60 kilos, 50 kilos. Laying in bed with a sucrose drip in you, a glucose, a bit dextrose grip, glucose drip. Sugar, refined sugar on the main vein. So when someone says, well, sugar's okay, but only on the days you train, they don't have a scientific and medical background, knowledge, real world observation going on there. That's just totally debunked. Go into any ward, coma ward. What are in the drip? Doc, nurse, dextrose, sugars, refined sugars. People are losing a massive amount of weight. That's where anabolic steroids have got invented. How can we maintain someone's weight and not have them waste away? Protein supplement might do it. Steroids will do it. Burns victims can't eat. Pump full of steroids. Maintain some weight there. Avoid sarcopenia. So we've got the question about the track cyclists. Interesting in doing sprint and endurance events. Didn't specifically say which distances, but either way, they're based on power. They're based on power, all right? Not, bodybuilder, powerlifter power, cycling power, which is not much at all. Most track cyclists, endurance, they're pretty skinny. They're probably built like me. And it's coming from power. The red blood cells, the power, the wattages, 400, 500 for the pursuit, sprints. It depends what you're doing, what your body weight is. So it's not a lot of power, it's enough power. It's track cycling power. And that's sugar fueled. So what do you need? You need red blood cells, all right? If you don't have red blood cells, nothing's really going on there. You got to have sugar because you got red blood cells. If you have the glycogen to power those red blood cells, the sugar to power those red blood cells, it's all for nothing. And you need water for water's sake. Contraction of muscle, etc. Just water for water's sake. Body temperature. Water. You need water. So red blood cells, sugar, and water. That's the science. That's the real world stuff going on there. People want a double-blind, random controls blind study with to show me that what you said is true, Harley. One study that says helmets don't protect your brain, don't improve any office. Helmets have not been proven to offer any safety benefits. Some studies say that. Some studies say if you don't wear a helmet, you're at risk of a greater head concussion trauma. I don't know. For me, wearing a helmet makes sense. I've hit the ground with a helmet on and without. I should have one. Hit the ground with a helmet on, without a helmet. I don't know. It would hurt, wouldn't it? If you got the choice to headbutt a brick with a helmet on, I'm going to go the helmet. You do what you want. It's just coming down to power, man. And so someone says, can you do it as a vegan? It's like every sport I know that involves fitness will be better enhanced on a vegan lifestyle. Now, asterisk, most people who are going to go vegan are going to fail hardcore. Vegan is going to make you deficient. It's going to make you anemic. It's going to make you super hungry. It's going to make you like that, crazy. A lot of the time, man. Today's vegan nutrition, what is it? Whole foods, plant-based, no sugar, fruit, a little bit of fruit, not too much, a bit of berries, no smoothies, no juices. It's like, man, that's insane. So then people do that and they go, I couldn't do a vegan diet, I just felt so poor. So that ain't a vegan diet. That's a starvation nation situation. All right. So there's the vegan diet and there's the Duran Rider bulletproof, carb the F up approach, where we understand performance and health and nutrition, versus this orthorexic, I just gotta follow any little scientific study that says this and then it says that. Rice is good, rice is bad, sugar's good, sugar's bad. I don't know. I'm just copy and pasting and stick it on there. And it's just like, come on, guys. Like, talk from real experience, man. Science is so corrupt, man. So corrupt. One scientist says this, sugar's really good. One scientist says sugar's really bad. And my name's Robert Losty, but I'm a big fat obese dude. So, it's so confusing. If you just, it's like you're watching a tennis match. Boom, boom, boom. Meanwhile, life's passing you by. You're not getting nothing done. You're wasting time following idiots. Just use your common sense, people, right? If meat was performance enhancing, it is for sumo wrestlers. I don't think you cannot follow my protocol and be a successful sumo wrestler. You won't, because you'll just get so lean. You suck up. Look how lean I am. Right? If I never did steroids, I'd be 10 kilos lighter. Do you know how fast I'd be riding today if I was 10 kilos lighter? If I never touched steroids, and if I trained, damn, I'd be quick. I wouldn't be Cookie Man, vitamin E from Mexico quick, but I'd be quicker. But I'd also look, I wouldn't have a girlfriend that was higher SNV. But that's, I digress. We're talking performance here, man. Meat in your gut, food poisoning. What nutrition does meat offer an athlete? Oh, it's because you gotta bulk up and get some muscles. All those CrossFitters, UFC people, they're using the juice. All of them who look like they're using the juice. Anyone who looks like Athlean and Matt does fitness and all that, they're all using anabolics. Joe Rogan's using anabolics. When the UFC commentator is on anabolics, you can guarantee you that all the other crew are using anabolics. What do I mean by anabolics? Creatine. That's just how it is, man. And the sooner the noobs out there understand the truth about, what's going on in sport, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I'm just saying it's going on, This is how it is. And you can go, I'm not going to follow you. You've done steroids. You've taken man hormones. Your voice has changed. It's deeper now, dude. I can't follow you. You're taking man hormones. It's hilarious, man. I try not to swear because that affects the algorithm. But it was crazy. And then you got guys like Greg Douchet, who claim they just use 140 milligram a week, and they're like, you know, just super, just like, it's like Greg Douchet, you must be so insecure to say, well, I just use 140, I'm sniffing farts again. I just use 140 milligram a week. That's all I use, guys. I'm just anabolic cookbook for $150. I've got recipes. It's like, oh man, it's like Greg couldn't deny it. He got busted selling steroids, you know, which is, you know, whatever. I think steroids. I don't know why you'd buy steroids from a dealer when you can go get them from your family doctor and exactly know what you're getting. Why take the risk of some unsteroid? I don't know. So that's the reality. Steroids are in track cycling, right? It's just they're rampant in track cycling. Man, like steroids will help track cycling performance so much. Not as much as sugar will. Not as much as sugar will, you know. But steroids plus sugar for sure, you know. And I'm not advocating the use of anabolics. I'm just saying that's what's going on. That's what's in masters. You can legally take anything you want. If the doctor will prescribe it, you can take it legally. So what do you think all the people are doing? I mean, it's night and day difference. If you're on some TRT, wow. I mean, I could be a track cyclist now. You know, I couldn't back in the day. I'm just a pure climber. But now I could actually do track. Not that I would, because you know, doesn't really appeal to me. But yeah, so it's anabolics to give that muscle contraction. But you need the sugar. So all meat does is add dead weight. Dead weight. You know, you want muscle contraction and anabolics. If you're 74 kilos, you know, and your twin brother's 74 kilos, and one of you's on anabolics, so your weight's gonna go up anyway. But let's just say you took just once that day, your performance is going to be more than your natty brother. You know, so if you have two athletes on the velodrome, similar level of fitness, etc., drive and ambition that day, one of them's using, one of them's not. The guy's using is just going to be a blah blah blah. It's just going to clean the floor with you. It's going to clean the floor with you. All other variables the same. Clean the floor with you. Yeah, same self-belief, just, you know, all the good factors, all considered, you know, he's going to clean the floor with you. So I really just think in life you have to educate yourself. You know, you have to educate yourself, which can be hard because so many people are going to lie to you, man. Because most people don't want to hear the truth. Because like, well, hang on, I bought into this story, you know, you just got to stay hard. Just got to stay hard, be a Navy SEAL. Those guys are on steroids too, right? It's just how it is, man. But so people are so naive, they just don't get it, man. They just don't get it. They just don't get it. And again, I've got no problem with people taking whatever they want. But just why lie about it to your fans? Just to sell some more books. Just to get more people, even more people. Like, if you're trying to be like these people out there who are using steroids, and not just a little, they're using a lot, you know, and they're lying about it, and you're trying to get their physique or their results or whatever, you're buying their program, their anabolic cookbook or whatever, you know, their autobiography, you know, I'm just trying to stay hard and get down and, you know, take painkillers and bruise and fracture my patella tendons, and it's like, never run again. I did a marathon one time, 10 years ago. I read Dave Goggins' book. I got inspired. I did it. Stay hard. You ran again? No, I haven't. I got double knee transplant because I cooked my knees. Just gotta stay hard. Stay hard in the hospital. Stay hard getting knee surgery. Stay hard. Far out, man. You know, it's crazy. And it's Americans, man. Like, I love, my audience is mostly American. I love America, USA, I should say. And great times there. But man, you guys and girls, the average US citizen, so gullible. Australians, still very gullible, but a little bit less than our US friends. I don't know what I mean, it's Hollywood, it's Rocky. What's going on there, you know? US culture makes people so gullible in general. And so when you got a gullible audience, you can just tell them whatever. Believe their fairy tales. It's crazy. Anyway, that's the deal. Vegan nutrition. I wouldn't recommend vegan diet for most people because you're going to be low sugar. You're going to be like, oh, I can have fruit, but not every day, and just a little bit of berries, and a bit of brown rice, a little bit of quinoa, a little bit of that. Make sure you get your protein. GCN, I'll do a separate video about it. GCN did a video about, you know, you got Nigel Mitchell, which, you know, I critiqued him a few years ago, and then he got on the vegan thing. And look, he looks like he rides a bike now. He's slimmed down. He got less inflammation in his face. He doesn't look like a thumb. Yeah, but he seems like a nice dude as well. Like, he's just, but even then, he's still like, well, get your protein. It's like, Nige, man, we're talking about cyclists here. What's the main drug a lot of professional cyclists use? Canacort. Why they use that? To strip down excess muscle, get you all looking. You know, it's not about protein, man. Protein's anabolic, staunch. When pro cyclists, road cyclists, mountain bikers using anabolics, it's not for weight gain. It's for muscle contraction, bit of recovery. You know, because all the corticosteroids they're taking can suppress their HPG, the HPG axis and stuff like that. So the steroids aren't used for getting staunch like they do in the CrossFit world. Anabolic steroids used in pro cycling for recovery purposes and also to treat some side effects like bone loss from the corticosteroids, which are used for that feeling of like invincibility for a couple of days, a bit of Canacort, and you're like going Cookie Man style at Norton Summit, you know, and you get that like, you ever wondered how someone gets super emaciated and be pushing out like watts like they weigh 90 kilos? That's Canacort, you know, plus a bit of EPO, plus a bit of extras. Then that's all running, swimming, boxing, you know. It's not just cycling that has a drug problem. It's the world has a drug problem. And the sooner people can understand that truth, not my truth, the truth, what's going on out there, just like this is a mirror behind me. Hey, mirror, you know. Oh, it's not a mirror, it's a painting with a bicycle and a guy wearing the yellow vegan. And there's a painting of it's a mirror. Stop getting conned, right? It's the drugs out there, people. Drugs are out there. But once you understand that, then you can go, wow, now I can see what's going on. This is not a mirror. This is a mirror. It's not a mirror. It is a mirror. You know, people think it's a pain. They walk up to it and punch it, and then their hands get chopped off because they punched a mirror because they didn't believe it was a mirror. They try these programs, Athlete X, get, you know, and they do it for a year, bust their hump, looking back, like thinking they're going to look like Athlete X, etc., or Goggins or whatever. And they're like, I'm just going to, you know, stay hard and train discipline. And they must look like absolute fools to their spouse or workmates or whatever. And a year later, it's still the same. Or maybe they look lost a bit of weight, got some fitness, that's cool. But they look nothing like their enhanced idols look. Nothing like them. And then they're like, oh, I didn't do it hard enough. Dude, you did it way harder than they did. If you're training natty, like if you're like weights and sprints, doing weights and sprints when you're on anabolics, it's insane. It feels incredible. It's like when you first time you ride a 6.8 kilo road bike rim brake, you're just like, wow, what's this, man? You always remember it. You're like, whoa. And then doing weights and sprints when you're natty, it's like, oh, where's the pump going? You know, so it's a whole different ball game. So, you know, there's that guy called Nick Bear. He's running a marathon. I do an Ironman. He's like, you know, it's laughable, man, out there. That I don't know how these people sleep at night, you know, to mislead their audience so much. That's just my opinion, anyway. That's my opinion. They could have just found Jesus. Just say, I'd say it's very suspicious otherwise. Maybe it's just Jesus. Jesus is pretty anabolic. So that's the deal out there. And meat doesn't give you power. Maybe in your head it does, people. Yeah, you go to. Now I'm not trying to be, you know, a bigot or a racist or whatever people might call me for saying this thing I'm about to say. But if you go to the poorest parts of the world, all right, and you talk to people, and you say, you know, is meat good? They'll be like, yeah, meat give you energy. Meat give you energy. Make you strong. Make you energy. And when you say, I don't eat meat, oh, where you get energy from? Where you get energy from? So I get it from the rice and the fruit and the sugar. Oh, no meat, no energy, no power, no power. And they're like, in the rice fields or in the mines, what do people eat? They get strong. They're working hard all day. Oh, they eat rice, sugar, and fruit. And how much meat? Oh, no, cannot afford meat. No. And they're like, well, these guys work and girls work harder than back here in Australia. We're eating meat every day and we look like an elephant seal. And they're like, oh, be good. They just don't understand it. And so that whole paradigm just pervades the world. So we have this, and I had it, man. I remember I stopped eating McDonald's. I'm like, oh, maybe there's something Big Mac that you need, you know, like, extra. I remember back in 1997, did a 250k ride. Like, maybe I need some meat for like some protein or some like power or something, you know. And then I started understanding more about nutrition. I was like, hang on a second. If I just eat enough carbohydrates every hour, I can ride for as long as I want to ride. I was like, holy mamma mia. I can literally ride 600 Ks in a day or whatever, depends on the wind and stuff. I can ride all day, all night, get a few power naps here and there. As long as I have the carbs and the water, I can just keep going. I was like, wow, you know. And then you have, yeah, so anyway, that's the deal. Can you be a good cyclist as a vegan? Depends what sort of vegan diet you're doing. I would say, in general, not there's that guy on GCN. Let's do another video. I'll do the next video on GCN. Hank, he's going vegan for a month, veganery, which is, it's cool to see that. But I just know in my heart these guys are going to fail. Not because of their person. They're going to fail. It's got the wrong advice. Just like a noob who buys a disc brake aero bike with like proprietary cables through the stem and stuff, and they're just gonna have a hard time with that bike. They're gonna have a hard time. Discs are gonna be rubber, and they're gonna flip their stem, get a different position. It's like, oh, I've got to one piece integrated bar and stem. I want to check the headset for any wear. I've got to rebleed the front brake. I'm just like, man, my heart goes out when I see new vegans out there, and I look at what menu they're eating: starchy bananas, they're eating heaps of flaxseed, and they've got no sugars. You know, except for a little bit of fruit, and eating brown rice. And I'm like, man, this dude ain't gonna last. And you know, not from lack of discipline, just from the body just going, what is this? Where's the sugar? You know, where's the carbohydrate calorie sufficiency? Where's the glycogen partitioning? Anyway, that's next video. But can you be as carbs, man? It's sugar. All right. If you're a track cyclist, you need at least. Because let's say you're 70 kilos, you need at least minimum per day 700 grams carbs from fruit, ripe bananas, fruits, mangoes, good stuff, jam. You need refined sugar in there as well for just do the experiment. And you need white rice. You know, white rice is like, there's the three: fruit, white sugar, white rice. Boom, game over. That's the three most powerful. Extras would be corn, potatoes, yams, quinoa, things like that. But yeah, fruit, sugar, white rice. Boom. Do the experiment. I'm assuming you got a power meter, and just test your data. Huh? Don't wait for science. Do your own science. Your real world science for your life, for your goals. Test it out. Watch your power go up. Go, wow, when my hemoglobin's over 180 and I'm doing at least 200 Ks a week, I'm going all right. And if I get enough sugar, I'm going pretty good. Wow. And I feel great. I feel better than I did. This works. Anyway, see you next video.